Hey, I shouldn't be telling you this, but if you skip this part of the video, you will miss out on the deal of a lifetime. If you click the link in the description, you will see that Atlas VPN are giving out an offer to get a 3-year subscription for just $1.83 per month. That's less than Netflix's latest price increase. Plus, it comes with 3 months for free and a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's the best VPN on the market, and you can use it to watch shows that are not available on streaming services in your country. So you can watch Friends on UK Netflix, no matter where you are in the world, as long as you have a subscription to Netflix. You can even use it on unlimited devices, so everyone in your house can watch Friends on UK Netflix at once. And they keep your searches private, so that we'll all finally stop spying on you. But remember, time is of the essence if you want to get this offer. Just $1.83 per month to get a 3-year subscription by clicking the link in the description below.
Today I fucked up by going on a date with a woman with an extremely short memory. Edit. A lot of people rightfully calling me out for what I did. I understand why going to house and waiting 45 minutes was creepy, and I feel like shit for it. I, am 22, matched on Bumble with a woman, F22, last weekend. Over the course of our chats there were a few instances when she seemed to forget things we'd said a day or two before. First, she asked, "What brought you to Bumble?" 2 days in a row. Then a day after I asked her out, she asked me out. 2 days ago I asked if I could bring some food and pick her up at her house so we could go out. We didn't mention it for 2 whole days. I showed up at her house at the agreed upon time. Side note. She had never given me her address, only a Google Maps screenshot pinpointing her house. Am I the asshole for trying to find it without an address? She was nowhere to be found, so I waited for about 45 minutes. Again, am I the asshole? Eventually I saw her coming out of her house and asked why she hadn't shown up. She said she couldn't meet up tonight and that her phone had died, so I went home, a little disappointed. Later she texts me, "That was super creepy. Please never show up at my house again. Like I never asked you to come over," and unmatches me on all dating apps. I was really freaked out about being called creepy and potentially getting a reputation as a creep, so I sent her the screenshots where she agreed to our meeting, promised not to contact her again, and deleted the conversation. We live in a smallish town. Should I be worried? Too long did not read. Agreed to go on a date with a girl from Bumble. She had a super short memory and forgot about our date. She then calls me creepy for showing up at her house at the agreed upon time. She probably already forgot she thought you were creepy. If I've learned anything on Reddit, it's to never buy a glass tabletop, and that short-term memory loss issues could be caused by carbon monoxide poisoning. You dodged a bullet. But also as a general rule, if someone doesn't confirm or give you the address, don't go. I've had dates scheduled where a girl ghosts and doesn't show up. So always confirm. If they don't confirm, move on. You're probably more willing to meet people. But it should never be difficult to coordinate with someone when they are interested. TIFU by laughing at an injured child and then making fun of that child's mom. So today I took my son to the park so that he could run around the playground and get some of his energy out. I was sitting on one of the benches that are scattered around the perimeter of the playground next to a woman who was probably a few years older than me. I am not a fan of small talk, so I wasn't talking to her or even looking at her. I was staring off into space, when I should have been watching my son, to be fair, and out of the corner of my eye I saw a 5 or 6-year-old girl running towards the swing set. She attempted to jump over the swing set, and bam! Her feet got caught on it and she face planted. I honestly did feel really bad, but I couldn't help but giggle a little. Now of course, with my luck, the woman sitting next to me was this child's mother. She looked at me with pure disgust on her face and I kind of just stared at her, trying to think of a way to justify my laughing. She immediately ran over to her child and I, very immaturely, decided it was about time to go. I got up and started to walk away when the mother tapped on my shoulder and told me that she hopes the same thing happens to my child. So I sort of snapped and said, "Well, if your child is anything like you, then maybe she deserved that." And then I walked to my son without looking back and left. TLR. I laughed at a little girl that fell and her mom said that it should happen to my child too, and I made fun of both of them and left. Lol. I can remember when my son fell down a full flight of stairs. The 3 of us who comforted him, he had an abrasion on his forehead, fought to keep a straight face and admitted after he left how hard it was not to laugh. You didn't wish harm upon her child, you laughed. Not the best reaction, unless you knew for sure they weren't hurt. But this woman literally wished harm upon a child because she disliked you. She sounds heartless. I know this is the wrong sub, but you are not the asshole. I laugh sometimes when my kids fall comically. Just the other day my daughter fell backwards off the swing when it was swinging back. She wound up flipping and face planting and I about peed myself. So, I'd have probably giggled at this kiddo too. This mom need to chill. Today I fucked up by telling my uncle a fake conspiracy theory about aliens. My uncle, 52, is really into conspiracy theories, chemtrails, fake moon landing, anti-vax, and especially stuff about aliens. 2 days ago he was over for a family dinner and of course starting talking about nonsense at the table. After the dinner I said I wanted to have a chat with him. I told him that a friend mine who works in the government told me something aliens, that they are invading Earth and are building bases underground. Basically these aliens live in higher temperatures and they are heating up the Earth to slowly kill us and take over. I told him that's what climate change really is. As I was telling it to him he started getting really into it, asked all sorts of questions. Eventually he left and I just laughed it off, thought he wouldn't care about it in an hour. Turns out he has been posting about all over Facebook and social media about aliens heating up the Earth and has been spreading it to everyone he knows, says he did research and found even more information about it. It's been 2 days and he still won't shut up about it. Too long did not read. I made up a conspiracy theory about aliens and told it to my uncle. He believed it and is now trying to spread it to everyone. Now tell him that efforts to reverse climate change are actually the world's governments trying to keep the Earth cool to keep the aliens from killing us. The CO2 cover story is just to keep from alarming everybody. I love how when you talk about climate change from an evidence-based perspective, these people say, "Don't trust the scientists, they're paid off," or some such. But he believed you about aliens from your friend who works for the government, with no hesitation. There is a Charlie Sheen movie called The Arrival. That is the same premise. Conspiratorial thinking can actually be part of pretty severe mental illness. Also makes it very hard to treat. How do you get a paranoid person to take medication? Edit. Try not to feel too bad, you didn't know, and if not this it would have been something else. Today I fucked up by washing my son's face. So I know that sounds innocent. How can you screw that up? Well, honestly I'm going to be cringing about this in my grave. Today my in-laws took the kids so husband and I could have a date. We went out to breakfast, came home, played Magic the Gathering, and listened to an audiobook. I asked him what time we had to pick up the kids. He said 3. I smirk at him as that gave us a 2-hour window for some intimate time. We rolled around in the sheets, had our fun, and just relaxed. Husband sighed and went to go clean up. I have a sensitive nose and made a comment about how that really is a unique smell. He just sort of shrugged. It was a passing comment. Nothing more. We made a deal that I would pick up the kids and he would clean the house. Now for where I screwed up. Every night either my husband or I help our son brush his teeth and wash his face. He is almost 4, and the other puts the baby, 1, to bed. Tonight was my turn for the oldest. He finished brushing his teeth and I grabbed a rag of the counter to wash off the excess toothpaste off his face. I had no sooner swipped his face twice on the cheeks when I smelled it. That same, sharp, sour smell of a man's baby making juice. I look down and see my son's face rag, which is the same color as the one I'm holding, on the floor. He must have knocked it over. I screamed and threw the rag I was just holding into the shower. I got soap and a new rag and frantically started washing my son's face. Meanwhile he is none the wiser, laughing and telling me, "Mama, it's not bath night." After he was tucked in, I numbly walked downstairs. Husband asked, "What was that about?" So I told him. He has since just stared at me in both a combination of horror, pity, and bemusement all night. Goo, I messed up. TLR wife accident wipes husband's seed onto son's face. This goes to the grave. Never let your son know this happened, ha ha ha. Wait. Husband, who was supposed to clean while you picked up the kids, left his cum rag laying on the counter. This is husband's foo for sure. Got to meet his brother and sisters face to face. Why was it still on the counter if your husband had cleaned up? Isn't every night supposed to be bath night? Southeast Asian here, raised in the tropics. Sharp and sour? Maybe send him to the doctor.